Is the end of your personal freedom awaiting you due to increasing digitization of personal IDs and access authorizations, including digital money? Trapped in a digital system of total control? And not only that, if you don't follow the guidelines of a ruling world government, you will be punished, and whoever does not amount to economic benefit will be excluded from public life quite easily.
Sinister fantasies of paranoid conspiracy theorists, or serious dangers of digital developments? We explore this question in this program. It is a fact that governments are introducing a digital identity for the people, some only still on a voluntary basis, and others are promoting its implementation. This is about digital identity proof, comparable to your passport. There are various ways to do this: electronic codes, an app on your smartphone, or some implanted chip. Scanned biometric data from the face, hands, or iris also serves as a digital proof of identity. The UK government, for example, has released a commercial portraying anyone using a physical ID card as awkward and outdated. In a guest article on the Daily Mail, former British Prime Minister Tony Blair praises digital identity as a panacea for just about everything, from shortening National Health Service waiting lists to prosecuting illegal immigrants, curbing welfare fraud, and solving the UK government's financial crisis.
Tony Blair, Digital Identity, is transforming drug discovery with a whole raft of new treatments, which will give us the chance to shift our healthcare system radically to prevention of disease rather than cure. If we use the potential of facial recognition, data, and DNA, we would cut crime rates by not small, but game-changing margins. But we need the right digital infrastructure to access all of this, and a digital ID is an essential part of it.
Since British Prime Minister Keir Starmer took office, a new Office for Digital Identities has been created with the task of overseeing this country's digital ID market. There have been numerous articles, commentaries, and editorials in the Daily Mail, Times of London, Financial Times, and Sky News about the potential wonders of digital identity. Does this imply people's digital identity is simply some technological development of a modern state? In Greece, the government is trying to make the EU digital ID palatable to the public by making it mandatory for access to sports stadiums. In Kenya, the planned biometric digital ID system is supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In Bangladesh, the government, together with the organization ID 2020 and the vaccination alliance Gavi, is providing infants and children with a digital ID once they are registered at birth or vaccinated. Australia has passed a law that makes it mandatory to verify age in order to gain access to social media, presumably using a digital ID. By 2026, the EU plans to roll out biometric digital ID systems at the border points of member states, said EU Commissioner Apostolos Tzitzikostas in Davos. The regulations for the introduction of a European digital identity came into force on March 6, 2025. They pave the way for all EU citizens to be able to use the European digital wallet from 2026. This will be provided in the form of a mobile app that will be available in every member state. It will make it possible to identify oneself online in complete security and thus access public and private online services throughout Europe. In Thailand, the National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Commission, NBTC, has decided to introduce a system for registering SIM cards that use personal biometric features for identification. These are just a few examples of the global development and introduction of a digital identity for people. In fact, many more could be mentioned.
The other side of the coin plus risks. Protection of privacy.
Data protection is touted everywhere, but privacy arguments actually carry less weight when most adults use smartphones with apps able to track everything from the number of steps taken to the color of socks purchased.
Data security.
A serious problem with digital ID is data security, that is, the dangers of hacking and cyber attacks. According to IT experts, 100% data security is an illusion. Norway and Sweden are suffering from an epidemic of identity theft and cybercrime, even though they introduced digital ID systems years ago. In Sweden, many cybercrimes are linked to the bank's digital authorization system, which is being used by almost all Swedish adults. India is home to the world's largest biometric digital ID system, Aadhaar, which has experienced grave problems with security, ranging from identity theft to countless data breaches, including two in which the data of around 1 billion people was misused. Much of it was offered for sale on the internet. This data included biometric identifiers such as iris and fingerprint scans. If this kind of data is hacked, there is no way to undo the damage. While a password or credit card can be easily replaced, biometric features such as iris and fingerprint remain unchangeable.
Ostracizing.
Digital biometric identity systems open or close the digital world for a person. For example, the gateway to CBDC, that is, central bank digital currency. No CBDC system can be operated without a government-sponsored digital identity, explained Stefan Ingves. Whitney Webb, a well-known investigative journalist, warns of the emergence of a new international financial system. Without participating in this system, you will no longer own any legal identity, nor have access to economic activities. You are practically no longer existent for state and private sector. Behind ID 2020, for example, is the perfidious plan to being able to harass every person in all their needs. Anyone who does not have the current vaccination status, anyone who exceeds the arbitrarily defined CO2 footprint, anyone who does not adhere to corresponding narratives in the public square is going to be punished with a withdrawal from the only valid currency, a digital one, or else they'll be arbitrarily deprived of all civil rights.
Total control.
The introduction of a mandatory digital identification for every nation on the entire planet seems to have become a major goal. This is about more than just total control over population. Who wants you to be unable to buy or sell anything on the internet without logging in with your digital proof of identity? Who is interested in ensuring that no one can go to school, get a job, or open some bank account without a digital ID card?
The driving forces.
You will find revealing information in the answer to the question, Qui bono? Who benefits from worldwide digital proof of identity for every person? Who stands to gain virtually unlimited power and profits? Many independent experts and analysts have been pointing out the driving forces behind the global implementation of the ID 2020 agenda for years. Economist and geostrategy analyst Peter König, for example, names the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization, Gavi for short, the World Health Organization WHO, the World Bank, other UN agencies, and, of course, the pharmaceutical industry as well as NGOs. The WHO wrote in 2018,
The ID40 and the ID 2020 Alliance are committed to bringing together governments, civil society, international organizations, and the private sector to efficiently implement digital identity technologies at scale.
ID4D is an initiative of the World Bank Group. This initiative supports countries that are implementing digital identification systems. It aims to create digital birth registration and legal identity for all by 2030. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is once again the main partner and financier of ID4D. Concerning Bill Gates, watch the program Bill Gates, World Dictator with a Profile of a Serious Criminal. Digitalization primarily serves the interests of the largest financiers, such as the Rothschild Group, the Rockefeller family, JP Morgan Chase, the investment company BlackRock, the pharmaceutical giants and tech giants, etc., who want to own and dominate the entire world. In the program World in the Trap of Freemasons, Ivo Zazek showed the deeds and the plans of the powerful in this globally active network and summarized what KLA-TV has proven in thousands of programs with hundreds of thousands of valid sources. Insidious technologies such as digital biometric IDs and surveillance systems can only be installed and exist if they are accepted and adopted by the still unsuspecting, deceived, and defrauded people. It is high time to wake up. Take a stand and resist the onset of digital enslavement. For example, by paying cash and doing without advertised digital conveniences. Then, being conservative, which is ridiculed today, will become the new trend again. Network with awakened freedom-loving people in your environment while this is still possible. Defend your freedom. KLA-TV is happy to support the local networking of truth-loving people with the help of the contact form at KLA-TV/Vernetzung.